I have a lot of feelings when it comes down to Sonic CD, but most of them are mostly negative because, well, it's not really a good game. Let me explain before people start complaining about everything online and every bullshit and all that because I called Sonic CD a bad game. I don't think it's worse than Sonic 06. I don't think it's worse than Sonic 4. It's just, you know, not really that fun compared to the other classic mainline games. But I'll get into that later. I mean, I'm actually getting to that right now. Let's start off with what levels they are. Most of the levels feel pretty generic and don't really have much personality behind it. Like at least with Green Hill Zone, you can kind of feel it, right? It's the most iconic stage to Sonic there is that has also been done to death, but at least it's a good time to go back there. But in that game, it just doesn't feel like it. We'll start off with Palm Tree Panic. It's basically a boiled down version of Green Hill, like kind of boring, not really that much fun than Green Hill. It's an okay stage, but it's not like crazy. The boss of the stage is also disappointingly easy. You basically fight Eggman in this weird robot suit, but it's so easy to cheese him. If you just get behind him, you can just get 3 hits and win the fight in just 10 seconds. I'm not even joking about it. Moving on. Collision Chaos. That's basically the pinball kind of stage, which they have in every Sonic game for some reason. I mean, I don't really have a problem with that. It's just, this one's just weird because it doesn't really feel like it. There are like a lot of bumpers, a lot of flippers in the stage, but like, it's not, the feeling is not there. And don't even let me start about the boss. Sure, the boss is a pinball, but they made it so bad it's actually really annoying to fight him. The first time fighting that boss, it took me over 10 minutes, not joking around, to even get the first hit. Sure, if you get the first hit, you basically won the fight, but my point still stands that it's just bullshit. I don't like the fight. But I did get lucky for other tries when I played like Tails and fought Eggman pretty easily there because I beat the stage in 30 seconds. It's weird. I still don't get how to do this the right way. And honestly, it's not really a good boss to begin with. It's actually my most hated boss. Moving on, Tidal Tempest. I will say this, Tidal Tempest is a better stage than Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1, but that's as much of a compliment as it gets. And that's mostly because the enemies aren't as annoying as in Labyrinth Zone. Well, other than that, it's a water stage. What do you expect? Like, except for Hydra City Zone, or Hydrocity, if you're like me, then it's a bad stage. It's not gonna be good. Moving on, the most forgettable stage, Quadrant Zone, it's just not fun. Like, I even forget most of the time what's on the stage. But it was with the whole, you know, treadmill, was it? Yeah, I think it was the treadmill gimmick, which you don't really like. It doesn't really do much. And the boss on that stage, it was just Eggman. It was just Eggman. Just, you have to run on the treadmill. That's the boss. Wacky Workbench. You're just... That is the most annoying stage in the entire game. I didn't even know that's even a thing. But making a gimmick that makes you launch up, despite the fact that you have to go down to proceed, it's kind of bad. It doesn't really mix well. If the Wacky Workbench gimmick was like differently, where the goal was to go higher instead of lower, this could have been a fun stage. Because you could have either done a bit of platforming, or you could have just walked from down there and get yourself launched 10 meters higher or something. But this one's just bad. They just made it differently, which I don't like at all. And the boss is just Eggman just being in the middle and you just have to launch yourself up with these things and dodge needles. It's not something special. However, now I have to give this game credit because now comes my favorite stage in the entire game. And to be fair, this stage is actually not only memorable, but it's also fun to play. Stardust Speedway. You would already guess that this is my favorite one. I think what they did on the stage with the whole shifting background and foregrounds thing, I really like that one. I also enjoy the design. That's actually the first time I can actually say that this is a stage that could even rival to like Sonic 2 stages. But one thing I have to address, Why is it that late? I played 5 stages before that just to get to start a speedway. Like, what the fuck do you think I'm doing? I just wasted my time just to play on the best fucking zone the game has to offer. Yeah, that's a good time waste. Anyways, Stardust Speedway boss is also the most memorable boss of the game. Who would have thought? It's a race against Metal Sonic. And the race is actually really fun. Like I said, Stardust Speedway. The only stage I like, it's because it actually does things right. Moving on to Metallic Madness, I would say Metallic Madness is kind of like Palm Tree Panic. And the only thing I like from Metallic Madness, what I really like to come back to, is the baby gimmick. The little toy gimmick. I really enjoy it, and I'm even more glad that they put that in Sonic Mania. The final boss, however, is just, I mean, we already had a setting for all the bosses there. They only made one good boss. The final boss is not gonna change anything. Let's talk about the gimmick, the time travel gimmick. You can reach a good ending or a bad ending, depends on if you wanna save the future or not. The future will always start off as bad. If you just play the game regularly, you'll just end up with a bad end. That is completely normal for Sonic games. This game has 2 ways of reaching a good end. Either you change the past, that you can get a good ending, or you just collect time stone. Yes, they're not called Chaos Emeralds, and yes, that bothers me too. But whatever, they're called time stones, and if you collect all 7 of them, you basically won the game. So what's my prop? What's my deal? I think it's easy to say what the problem is. Time traveling is just there if you're not good at the special stages, which I would actually prefer playing the special stages because they're fun. That's also another thing that the game does really good. The special stages are fun, but the problem is keeping 50 rings, because they did the same thing that they also do in the other games, which is get 50 rings, go to the end of the stage, and there's the bonus stage. It is very easy, once you understand how it goes, of course. However, it's such a hassle to get there, because most of the time, if you don't even know what's gonna happen, you just get hit for something you didn't even control. And once you get hit, you lose your rings, you lose your special stage. What's even the point? But if you get to a special stage, it's definitely worth it. And yeah, it's probably the most fun I will actually have in that game. The other way is time travel. If you want to time travel to get a good future, you will only have to go to the past. There is no reason to visit the future at all. So the future pole does not make any sense in regular gameplay. It's just there, but it's just there to waste your time. If you want to look at the stages with past and future, you can do that, but you just rather want to play the game than just look at the full graphics and all that shit. You don't want to really look at the level, especially if the levels are mostly boring. So what do you have to do if you want to go to the past, if you're in the past? What you have to do is you have to destroy some generators. There are always 1 generator per level, which you have to destroy in every level. So basically every zone has 2 levels and then a boss, and you have to destroy the generators in the levels. If you do that in every stage in the game, that's it. And now here comes the worst part. You have to find them. Not every generator is like obvious to find. So you'll be running around for 5 minutes to look for that 1 generator that gives you the good ending. Sometimes you even have to backtrack for it. It's stupid, and I do not enjoy time traveling in that game at all. I'd rather get the 50 rings and then go to the special stage than deal with this hassle. Also, the ending does not change no matter what you get. Either you go to the past and fix everything yourself, or you just collect all the time stones. It doesn't matter. That's it for my Sonic rant mostly, my Sonic CD rant. But there are also positives. I think the hidden screens or like the sound settings are pretty cool. And the Easter eggs they have there too, they're also really great. And of course, there's always the music debate. Is the American version better or the Japanese version? And to that I'll say, why is that even a debate? Sure, the US soundtrack of Sonic CD does have some really good bangers, right? But most of the bangers in that game are in the Japanese version, which you don't get to play if you play like an emulated version of it, unless you have the Japanese one. I mean, to be fair, this game is free on mobile, so you can basically just download the game and then choose your own soundtrack. Like, it's not even a bad thing. I really like that one. So if you like the US soundtrack, if you like the JP soundtrack, I don't give a shit. Just listen to them. But I will judge you if you say that the US soundtrack is better than the Japanese soundtrack, because you're going to be completely wrong. Like I said, I don't completely hate the US soundtrack, but most of the music is not really that good. That's the end of the video. That's the end of my Sonic CD rant. I hope I never do this again. Goodbye. This is me in post. I forgot to talk about these two things. First off, the third reason that I hate time traveling, and also I forgot to talk about the Tidal Tempest boss. Let's do that real quick. So another reason why I hate time traveling is because there are certain spots in the level that makes it so easy to time travel, but sometimes there are no spots of these things. Like if I talk about spots, I mean like two springs right next to each other. It doesn't really exist, so you just basically walk around and hope your time traveling bullshit doesn't go away, because if you're fast enough and you get stopped all of a sudden, that time travel you just collected from that one pole is gone and you cannot use it again. That's so stupid. Now talking about the Tidal Tempest, the boss is just Eggman being underwater. You can hit him pre-fight, which makes this boss more bearable, but other than that, it's just him being surrounded by bubbles. You cannot really hit him, and he shoots pellets down. He's really annoying. That's it with the video. Goodbye.